Here's what I'm going to say about this, okay? People on the right worship technocrats like people on the left worship Hollywood. That's the reality, okay? Elon Musk got behind Trump at the very end, right? When victory was in the sights, he was like, I am the #1 Trumper. And the next thing you know, he's like living at Mar-a-Lago and somehow also, I'm supposed to believe, running 3 businesses. I'll ask the question, let me not be judgmental. What conservative value does Elon Musk hold dear that made him worthy of his proximity to Trump's administration? And please don't say you went all in on Doge. Like he was the only person cut for the job of cutting government spending. Any business accountant worth their salt could have cut government costs. You don't need a celebrity. You don't need someone who likes rockets and space to do that, okay? You just need a very good accountant. So it can't be that. You can't be, I hope we're not that fickle. Is it a stance on family? Is there anyone who's had more baby mama drama? I have been so bothered by this, and I've been so disturbed as people are like, he's being taken advantage of. Poor trillionaire, poor gazillionaire with 19 baby mamas. He had no idea. Like, he knows how babies are made. So it couldn't have been his stance on family that drove you towards Elon Musk. Was it a stance on faith? Are you a Christian? Or were you one of these Christians that got behind him? Because I'm pretty sure that he's a part of the transhumanist movement, meaning when are we going to turn everybody into AI movement? And people just didn't have an issue. They're just like, this is all fine. It's all fine.
Hey, yo, what it do, crew? It's your favorite Coloradan with a noggin, Elijah X, back in the flesh. Good to see you guys, man. I haven't been on since the election season. We all know how that turned out. Speaking of turn out, you see what's happening right now. A very big crevasse being dug between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And I mean, I have to agree with Candace in some regard. What exactly did us right-leaning folks fully expect out of Elon other than, I mean, obviously his money and then also his time? So, you know, ultimately we have to remember that a lot of folks who did vote for Trump matriculated from the left-hand side of the aisle, if you understand what I mean. They came from the Democrat side. So there's no way to ultimately always see eye to eye with one another at the end of the day, one way or the other. But a lot of them still hold on to their principles and their tenets and thoughts and whatnot. Candace brought up the whole instance of Elon being a father to multiple children. I have multiple baby mamas. And, you know, realistically, his mindset is not necessarily progressive, but yes, it is indeed left-leaning. Now, when it comes to the ordeal with him and Trump, I believe that there is no winner between the two. In fact, there might indeed just be a loser, and that would be us, the American people. Now, I know everyone did not vote for Donald Trump, but we have to want him to do the best that he can in the office. And realistically, 77 million of us did. And that's not me telling the left to go sit down and that your opinions don't matter or that you're ultimately futile when it comes to the future, because that is not true. Ultimately, in order for us to get forward and get ahead in life, we have to be united. That is why the name United States of America exists in the first place, correct? That's what I thought. Now, there's a few things that I think this could boil down to. One is that Elon has sacrificed so much effort into this Doge, you know, establishment, that he is thoroughly annoyed that they weren't able to get any cuts done necessarily within this OBBB, the One Big Beautiful Bill. And what I've come to learn is that those cuts can't be done in a reconciliation process itself, budgetary or not. Budgetary wise, it can't not be put in here. So they're already focusing on getting the 51 votes they need to establish a rescissions package. In fact, Donald Trump just sent that 9.4, I believe it was billion Yeah, $1 billion package to Mike Johnson about a day or two ago. So, I mean, that's on the road. The second thing I could see him being annoyed at is, like Trump said, him getting away from the EV incentives. But it's not that particularly. He's annoyed that there are subsidies going toward gas powered and operated vehicles and whatnot. And my pushback there is, yeah, I could see them taking away credits and everything for the EV being annoying and not reciprocating on the same playing field, so to speak. But, um, when it comes to Donald Trump bringing back manufacturing capabilities for our country and everything in betwixt, we need those subsidies that currently happen during this building phase in order to, move material, keep the trucks running, keep the building going effectively and efficiently, especially with the Drill Baby Drill initiative that we, the 77 million, kicked forward. So, boom, there's that. Um, the one big standout of this conversation is Elon calling Donald Trump out for being on the Epstein list, and that's a very big insinuation. And my thing is, how would he know? How would he know? Was he smashing out Pam Bondi? She can't give him another kid. She didn't show him that stack of files on her desk. He's not in there reviewing the files, the videos, and every other piece of evidence. So how in the heck would Elon even know that? In my honest and humble opinion, and you can disagree with me, and I welcome the disagreement, it seemed like Elon has been very superbly emotional. And that's either one, just impulse and possibly attributed to his ketamine, prescription and trying to get his mind right, or two, this is being done purposefully. I think it's being done purposely, and I think it's because of Congress's lackadaisical nature in terms of implementing more on the Senate side, because it's in the Senate currently, with them implementing extra cuts that Elon has brought to their attention. The only way to even garner some real attention is to quote unquote stab Donald Trump in the back. And that's what I believe he's doing. Also, that helps him create that space, especially after sticking around for however 130 so days for the government special employee position. He might be doing this to create that false crevice so people will start kind of filtering back to his products and not looking at him like a pariah. But the way he's gone about, even if he's having fun, and they are doing it just to rile feathers and create a narrative that they can run with to force out the Epstein files, now Elon's in a certain tub of goo. He's sticking too hard to the Bad Boy Act, and ultimately, we, the people, did not vote for Mr. Musk. All due respect, I think he's a really intelligent fella. Obviously, he might be a modern genius, or he is. At the end of the day, we voted for Donald J. Trump. Now, love him or hate him, like him or leave him, we should want the person leading this country to do what will be best for us. The big argument is that there's not enough spending cuts. There's plenty of videos going around that says why more spending hasn't necessarily been cut, and you can find that. You have to actually look into this stuff. The big takeaway, though, is that the amount of growth that we're going to have within this period is going to be so exorbitant that it's going to, one, meet the debt where it is and overcome it in terms of pacing. So we're going to be making so much money while the debt stays down there that we're going to end up overshadowing it and overtaking it, in other words. I'm not a politician, neither is Elon. He doesn't know the intricacies and the processes. He's a very business-oriented minded person, just like Donald Trump. So he figured that he would get in there and take it out and do it exactly how it needs to be done. But you have to take into consideration Congress. It's not just the Democrats that are causing this, this fault line to be driven. It's the rhinos and the right side. And I keep banging on this drum, but we need an American first party. So there is a poll going around online with Elon asking if we need a third party, which technically we have the libertarians. But I've been harping on that for like a month and a half or two. We do need a third party that stands with making these changes, because the rhinos on the right side, even though we voted for the right, we do not stand with these stalwarts. They're making this more difficult than it needs to be. And Elon said, you know what? Fuck it. Donald Trump's on the Epstein list. What I think is going to come from that is that's going to put everyone involved on checking into those files on a very thin line to walk. They're going to have to release it. And when they do that, if Donald Trump is on or not, I don't give a fuck. If you're a offender, you deserve everything that's coming to you. But I think he's doing that because he's aware, potentially, maybe through Cash or somebody, they divulge a slight bit of information, potentially, especially looking through the systems that he goes through, that a lot of people on Congress, left and right hand side of the aisle, are on that list. I believe they're on that list. I'm pretty sure you guys believe they're on that list. And I thoroughly believe that something is about to happen that's about to shake up everything. And I'm not talking about the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Yeah, I'm not talking about the immigration. But something's about to go down for sure. And before we end this, I'm going to bring up a little bit of stuff from Charlie Kirk, because that's my guy, and I think you guys should check it out. So bear with me for a second while we check out what Charlie has to say, because I think it's ultimately quite timely. And Charlie, he doesn't miss that often. So let's see what he's got, right? Let's go.
A chaotic mess, to say the least. So the back and forth between Elon and Trump has now escalated to the highest possible ability. So capacity, it's going back and forth and back and forth. So it started with Elon Musk saying, quote, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude." That's a complicated statement by Elon. He basically saying that because of him, we won the 2024 election. Now, he played a role, for sure. Turning Point played a role. This was President Trump's victory. Let's be honest, he is the one why people showed up by the millions to go and vote for him. It's because of President Donald Trump, who got shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, that he was able to outperform the polls again.
Hey, yo, on some real shit, facts, because I never ever watched a presidential rally up until this cycle. Up until President Trump came back and did his thing. Mind you, this is the first president I ever vote for, and Barack Obama included. I consider myself a lifelong Democrat. He pulled me over. So this was Trump's victory overall. It was not Elon's, no matter how saucy he wants to be.
And so then it prompted President Donald Trump to respond, quote, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his electric vehicle mandate. That forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy." Donald Trump continued, quote, "The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it." And then Elon responded to a tweet from Laura Loomer back and forth saying, quote, "Oh, and some food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 plus years." Elon then dropped.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. That's some very egotistical thinking, and very egomaniacal to say some shit like that, to be honest. Like, and I don't dislike Elon, you know, he's in his mood and his feels, or he's just, once again, portraying this visage so we kind of get sucked in and he draws attention and then we disperse it in another manner. But for him to say that is very egotistical, and I don't like it.
Drops the thermonuclear bomb. He drops the bomb that broke the internet. And honestly, it's not even what he thinks it is and what the internet thinks it is, which is one of the reasons why we're talking right now. Elon Musk says, quote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." Now, to be clear, President Donald Trump had an adversarial relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The idea that now, 10 years after President Trump went down the golden escalator, all of a sudden there's going to be a new, previously not known, terrible allegation against President Trump, the guy that was sued into oblivion by E. Jean Carroll and Stormy Daniels. Now, 10 years later, we're supposed to believe that there's going to be a smoking gun of something in the Epstein files. But what is in the Epstein files is, yes, President Donald Trump is probably mentioned. He was mentioned in the Epstein file dump back in February. You know why? He lived in Palm Beach. There's probably thousands of names in the Epstein files. Was he part of the Epstein client list? Absolutely not. That is complete nonsense. Elon Musk then sends another tweet about how he says, "This just gets better and better. Go ahead and make my day," about ending the International Space Station and providing no safe way to deorbit. And then Elon Musk responds to a truth from Donald Trump saying, "Such an obvious lie, so sad. I wish this would all be handled privately. I wish greatly this would all be handled behind closed doors." But to say that Donald Trump is not releasing the Epstein files because he's in them in some incriminating way, yes, it's very clear that if you live in Palm Beach, you might have been mentioned and caught up in some sort of conversation with Jeffrey Epstein. There is zero chance whatsoever on any planet anytime soon that we're supposed to believe that all of a sudden, after 10 years, they finally got Donald Trump because he's listed in the Epstein files. Now, Elon Musk is coming hard after Donald Trump. He's also threatening to start a third party. He's saying, quote, "Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle?" And the vast majority of people are saying yes. There is really no way to sugarcoat it. This is a mess. This is a pile of garbage, what is happening right now between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. But honestly, in some ways, if you look at it at its fundamental core, it's not going to be a movement breaker. A month from now, we probably won't be talking about this. 2 months from now, this is largely just heightened tensions and a lot of passions and emotions. And there's a waxing and a waning that comes forward between Elon and Donald Trump.
All right, so you get what we're getting at right now. This is all just, it's a form of political theater. It's literally a form of political theater. And not just a regular political theater, because you don't typically see it really on the right side. But hey, newsflash, a lot of the right side currently, even Donald Trump himself, are an amalgam of people who got sick of the left's shit. So if they were originally left side people, you know damn well the rhinos could care less about truly making shit work. Why do you think none of Trump's executive orders have been codified? Why do you think none of the Doge cuts have been codified? How come you don't think most of his agenda has been passed and they waited all the way to this bill? They've been slow walking him, allowing the activist judges to go for his jugular. The rhinos have been facilitating a lot of the tomfoolery. It's not just the left, it's also the right. That's why we call them the uniparty. So Elon might be onto something when it comes to making a third party. And hey, I agreed with it. I've been saying it for a hot minute. You see my dog under my arm breaking the green screen? Love it. But I've been with the shits and the giggles. We need to unite. We're called the United States of America. And I don't hate you. I might not agree with you on some things, but I fundamentally don't hate anyone, nor do I have the energy for it. So if we're ready to make a difference, then let's get together and do something new. Trump and Elon will get over it. And if they don't, guess what? That's life. I do not care. This is all gonna blow over. That Epstein list, though. Alright, y'all. Thank y'all for stopping in. Make sure y'all follow me on X. PTSP. I think it's PTS Pod 1776. I'll make sure I rectify that in the next videos. But yeah, follow me there, man. And hey, let's get together. For real this time. It's time to unite. We don't live in fright. This is America, baby. Peace through strength. Signing out.